Are these two going to jail? We're working with their local police to put these two in jail as well. We're not gonna stop until these two are behind bars forever. The whole world wants to know, why is LIEnette and John CROOK not locked up? Kind of like our chickens have been. Come on, babies.
Release the McButts.
I wanted the chickens to stay in the coop for a couple weeks because they got a bird brain. Not unlike our neighbors. They're not all that intelligent. They have to stay in a place for a long time. And then once they're in that place for a long time, they know where home is. Even with the door open, they're not even coming out. Let's see if we got any breakfast.
Okay.
I see some breakfast. I see some breakfast. Look at this, George. Our first Florida breakfast egg. It's
okay.
oblong. Oblong. I like it. Only one.
Just one?
Only one so far. I'm gonna go ahead. I'll put that in my pocket. Guys, the ducks are here to meet with you.
Come say hi to your sisters.
Come say hi to your duck sisters.
Oh, pigeon looking chicken was the
She
first
was the
one
first
out.
one. Look behind you, babe. There's the ducks.
Oh, hello,
There's the
duckies.
ducks.
Hello, this one has blue eyes.
All right, the birds have freedom now. The birds have freedom. And I'm sure you want to know, why do LIEnette and John CROOK still have freedom? And we're going to explain that all to you. But we also got to get a water test ready for, town hall meeting. So this is the bucket of bottled water from our last test for Don. This is a bucket of Otter Creek water that does not go through our filter. And if you look already, you can see the greenage, okay? I see green, you see green, George?
Yes.
I'm colorblind. I'm red-green colorblind,
It's
and
a
I'm already seeing
brownish,
green.
greenish tint.
Okay, it's got that like tannins.
Yeah.
And what happens if you let this water settle for a while, there's a chemical that they use to actually take all the particulate and it bonds to it and it sinks down to the bottom. And it stinks. And it stinks really, really bad. So you probably are used to sulfur in a water and that stinks like skunk, right? This stinks even a little bit worse. Look at that color difference. Just already. And Don owes me $50. This is my second test. If I let this water sit, which happens because we need this to actually flush the toilet, all the particulate start bonding, it goes to the bottom, but the color of the water doesn't change any. George, are you willing to drink any of that?
I'm looking at the bubbling that's happening
Well,
right
there's
now.
a lot of bubbling happens too. I'm sure that could be the chemicals.
Would I drink the water?
Usually there's more bubbling than this.
Absolutely not. I would not.
Would you bathe in this water? No, because you bathe in the water that goes through the filter. I bathe in this water.
I used to bathe in this water and it damaged my skin. It damaged my hair. I broke out into hives. It was pretty bad.
Remember when LIEnette told everybody that there's no problems with our water? Otter Creek water, and right next to it, actual water, clean water. We definitely don't have clean water in Otter Creek yet. Since George and I aren't actually staying in the camper anymore, and by the way, our camper is legally on our property. There are statutes that say where you can have a camper, how long you can have a camper, how you can have a camper on the property. Ours has been and always has been and continues to be legally on our property. We're not going to stay in the camper anymore. We're staying in the actual house. Now, we also have reservations about building our dream house here in Florida anytime soon with the huge uproars that are going on with Russ the Sus and the county and the town and what's going to happen with permitting and building. So for the time being, we're going to take this turd of a home and we're going to put paint over it. And we know it's a turd, and we're still going to call it a turd, but we're going to live in it peacefully, and we're going to enjoy it. And yeah, we still have those bad neighbors that are uproaring all the peace. But why are they not in jail? We're going to tell you right now. Remember when Deanna left you all these snacks? And now there's almost nothing left? Deanna, all your snacks are gone. Deanna's right behind George.
There's more where that came from,
There's
though,
plenty
right?
more, just
I can't
in
put
case.
that on the counter because we have to move everything out of this room. So most of you know already that George and I went to the sheriff station very first thing as we got home into Levy County. And within 5 minutes, LIEnette and John CROOK were stalking us and waiting for us. Let's do a little flashback right here. She's right there. This is who I have a civil protection order on. She's right there. She can't be within 500 feet of me. Insanity. We were at the sheriff's station for a number of different reasons. So we had to take our civil protection orders, and we had to make sure that what Florida calls domesticated into the system. Come to find out, we didn't have to domesticate them in the system. They're already in the Federal Registry. So that was a very, very good thing, okay? So we didn't have to do anything extra in the domestication process. And Levy County Sheriff have to actually enforce those civil protection orders. Now, I know what you're thinking. Hold a second. Within 5 minutes, all of a sudden, your neighbors are there. Levy County Sheriff did not arrest them. Okay, here's what we were told, okay? You take it for what it's worth. So Levy County Sheriff tells us, yes, your civil protection orders state that LIEnette and John CROOK can't be anywhere near you, whether it's in public or private facilities. Okay, those two words are in the civil protection order. And they specifically asked, Jeremy, do they have this? Yes, they've been served this. They have it. It's good for a year. Our 5 years coming. So they said there are neutral places, and there's two. One of them being the sheriff's station, stating that you can't keep anyone from the public away from the sheriff's station to report a crime. The only way that they could have arrested them is if there was an intent to harm, that we could prove they followed us there with a firearm ready to... Obviously, them being in the parking lot is an issue. Obviously, they waited for us, and the sheriff stated that that is a neutral place. The other neutral place, a courthouse. Now, we're going to be in court in Florida with John CROOK and LIEnette. Oh, wait, hold a second. LIEnette forgot to protect CROOK in all of this, didn't she?
Yeah, I don't recall his name being on any of the paperwork.
Huh. Well, maybe that's her next scam and ploy to try and get away, as she stole $2,200 from an individual, stating that she was going to flee from him in May. So we will have that day in court. Court is a neutral place as well. You've got sheriff's station and a courthouse. That does not include town hall. John CROOK, LIEnette, if they show up at the next town hall meeting, we have verification and 100% stating from the Levy County Sheriff, they will be arrested. They cannot be where we're at. There's been somebody so foolish to post, wait, you mean LIEnette can't go to her local sheriff's station? LIEnette can't go to her local grocery store? No, LIEnette can't. That's the consequences of what she's done. Now, if I'm there or George is there, and tells me that's not going to come off, I'm going to go for the TV instead. Can't be there. Not within 500 feet. That's the consequences of doing illegal things. Now, for that person who's posting such things, they're next. Think it's a joke? Try me. Try me. We're not putting up with this kind of insanity in our lives. People stalking us. People trying to use our name to generate income. People trying to do foolish things to try and get some type of celebrity status. It's no joke whatsoever. They literally cannot be out on their own property if we're passing by. And they've already broken that part of the protection order as well. Look at this. What about all those posts that... Whoa!
Oh my goodness.
All right, well, I fumbled that. What about... Careful, you're in your socks. What about all those posts from John and LIEnette constantly on Facebook? They keep doing it daily, literally on a daily basis. Will they be held accountable for that? Well, the answer is, again, yes. They may not make any post, any public post on any platform, any blogging that says our name. And they continue to do that. They can't even make a reference to us, the YouTubers, the neighbors. They continue to do that. You go ahead, Deanna, that's fine. So, Deanna's taking care of the mess that I made. I wonder who's going to take care of the mess that LIEnette and John have put themselves in. Well, the answer is simply this. all jurisdiction falls under the judge in Ohio. Matter of fact, she clearly stated that to John on trial, as John said, I object, I object, I object. And the judge goes, to what? You have to have a basis. And he goes, to everything. All of this happened in Florida. This is not Ohio. And she goes, I have jurisdiction over all of this because of what you've done to this Ohio resident. And so everything they have done, everything they continue to do, has all been given to the judge. And that judge can then make an arrest warrant. And then Florida, Levy County, has to actually enforce that. So the question is, are these two going to jail? You couldn't hear it in the shot, but LIEnette actually told the sheriff. And the sheriff were confused. Admittedly so, the sheriff were confused. LIEnette told the sheriff, we both just came from the courthouse, okay? Now, I'm headed to the courthouse while the ladies are working on some things here, and then we're going to get paint on these walls. We were not both at the courthouse. You can go ahead. Look, Deanna's just waiting. She's just waiting. Just waiting. All right, so she told them we were at the courthouse. Now, they were confused, okay? First of all, they have something going on at the sheriff's station that they probably have never had before. It's Levy County, for all places. They've got an out-of-state civil protection order that is in the federal registry, that is enforceable in every state and every, what do you call those? Provinces of the United States. They've never had anything like this before. They have a psychotic woman calling them every single day, showing up every single day about another issue, okay? And all of a sudden we show up and we're checking to make sure that our civil protection order is enforceable and it's actually in the system, which it is. We're also reporting the crimes, such as the screenshots. Way more to come on that, including sound recordings. She's lying to the deputy who says, hey, you wait here if you need an escort to your vehicle. That deputy thought George and I were leaving. And number one, I did not need an escort. My life isn't changed based on this civil protection order. This is a one-way and only one way. Their lives are changed based on the consequences of their actions, the things they posted, the things they've said. I will not alter my life for them. I will not reroute my way to my schoolhouse, to my home. I will not change the way I drive, where I go, anything along those lines. That is the consequences of what they've done. Now, the sheriff station doesn't understand that completely while we're there in that clip you saw earlier. And you can see they don't understand it completely. So give them a little bit of leniency, a little bit of
grace.
Well, we'll just give them a whole lot of grace because they've had to deal with this insane couple for way too long now. Just got back from the courthouse and you're going, why in the world would you be at the courthouse? Well, it's because Florida courts actually granted LIEnette an injunction hearing. Now, they did not give her an actual injunction. They have not found anything that actually, if you read through all this paperwork, they haven't found anything that actually gives her a right for an injunction. They've just given her a hearing. Now, we do have a whole bunch of mumbo jumbo, and we've got hilarious stuff from other individuals that have nothing to do with this, which will be thrown out of court anyway. So this is gonna be interesting. Wait, what's this? Is that the futon frame?
Looks like it.
The security futon frame? You know, Governor DeSantis gave him that huge grant for all the good things they're doing, and they upgraded. They now have a round futon frame as well. Girl's been going after these walls like crazy since I've been gone. We're gonna do a full transformation. We left the fridge just because we want it plugged in, but
I've been sweeping the walls because they're covered in dust and cobwebs and
no, not this place.
bug poo.
No.
I mean, we're roughing it. We're
camping. We're camping. That's what we do. So some people may be thinking, well, Jeremy, you got a court date. Are you concerned about that at all? No, not at all. As a matter of fact, we were pushing and we wanted a court date in Florida. And so that's an incredible thing that the courts actually gave her a hearing. With enough whining and enough complaining and enough victimese, she was actually able to get it, which we think is phenomenal because we will be able to show all the neglect, all the abuse, all of her posts talking about abuse, all of her videos talking about addicts on her property, shooting guns, you name it. If you've seen it, it's going to be used as evidence against her in court. And we're hoping the court gets involved and actually does something to save Harley, does something to save the animals, does something to save the residents of Otter Creek from these two freaks. The Levi shirt is back. My mole party shirt is gone because we got work to do. Oh, see? That's why. That's why. Did the chickens get me, or did LIEnette?
I don't know what you're doing.
Did LIEnette take a crook on me?
Is this your first time painting?
Yeah, this is my first time painting. Could you teach me? Could you look at this? Look at these up here. You see what these are? These are square pieces of plywood. Why we have a full ceiling of plywood pieces that are stained, I have no idea, but
It just screams Levy County.
what a change already. Look at you go. I do. I noticed a difference. You do have a little spot there on your Pig Whisperer shirt.
I'm okay with getting a little bit of paint.
Okay.
It'll make it look like it's part of the design.
That's good. That's good.
You know.
Look at this line. Look at the difference. This reminds me of how Otter Creek was in the old administration and how Otter Creek is in the new administration. It's a whitewashing that we all need, right?
Yep.
Yep, exactly. Look, Deanna's over here. Painting up George's walls. Hey.
Wow, Jeremy. Check
What?
out my door.
Nice door.
This is my first time ever painting a door white.
Okay.
And it's pretty bright.
All right,
Pretty bright.
and
Makes a huge difference.
looks like you got some of the floor there too, George.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
messy.
That's a George. That's a Jeremy paint of the floor. That's a George paint of the floor. How's your ceiling look?
It looks incredible.
All right,
I
let's-
mean, look at it. Just look at it.
Whoa!
Would you look at it?
It's almost all done.
And
Wow.
Deanna is hitting up all the trim, and it
Woo.
looks good. Teamwork.
Yes, teamwork.
How are we all three gonna fit in that bathroom?
Uh-oh.
Wait, I know. I have an idea.
No.
We'll make a compostable toilet out of this. Does anybody have a laundry bucket and a hose? Nobody makes a mess like you. What are you
Both
most
messy.
proud of so far?
The doors.
The doors?
make
Okay.
a huge difference.
Doors.
So this area
Doors.
used to be dark and creepy.
Very dark and creepy.
And now look at it.
And you only put like
Just one
half a coat.
Only one coat on the door, and look how big of a difference it made.
That's a pretty big difference.
I can't believe it. Come look, come check out the bathroom.
What'd you do? Did you just play battleships in the toilet?
No, not at all. Come
Do you have a
look.
world record waiting in there for me to see?
No, come look.
Okay, all
This
right.
is one coat. This is one coat of white paint.
We got a coat in
And
there.
look at the difference already.
Okay, I'm seeing
Look at the difference already.
pretty big difference. I am seeing a big difference.
It's almost like we changed all of our light bulbs.
You know what
we
we
didn't.
You know what we really need? We need to change our diets. We need more
Boa cues.
story time from the packet of paperwork from the court. Now, these are letters written on behalf of LIEnette Preston, which will never be accepted in the court of law anyway. They've already been thrown out in Ohio. They will not be accepted. They'll be thrown out in Florida as well. But they're hilarious. So let's have a little fun. Let's laugh together. This one is from, who's that there? Angela Gleason?
Oh, isn't that the woman she called the R word?
Yes, that is the exact woman that said that LIEnette said was going to bury her, and she is a complete and total R word. Okay? So let's have a little fun. Let's read it. Your Honor, I'm writing to you because I'm very worried about LIEnette and John CROOK. Jeremy Hales uses his YouTube channel, What the Hales, to cyberbully Michelle and John. By the way, let's keep this in perspective. It was LIEnette and John CROOK that were stating things for months and months and months. After they stalked us to Otter Creek, they did not get any money from us, and they used Facebook pages to actually slander us, okay? And we did nothing, absolutely nothing. But then when we fought back, they're victims. Okay, well, here we go. Mr. Hales has also instigated several confrontations with Mr. Cook. That's interesting because those confrontations didn't happen until Mr. Cook exited the camper and then brandished and pointed a firearm at me. And yet somehow I instigated that as I'm recording for the safety of a child. But but let's keep going on. Almost every video of him is ranting about LIEnette, who he calls LIEnette. Actually, yesterday's video had nothing to do with it. As a matter of fact, every video before they stalked us to Otter Creek had nothing to do with them. We have almost 2,000 videos. Don't stalk me. Don't harass me. Okay, but let's just keep going. Miss Preston has been harassed telephonically. That's a big word. I'm shocked that could come out when LIEnette calls her a R-word. And by what the Hale's fans. Well, we have nothing to do with what our fans do. Because Mr. Hale's doxed her. Okay, well, first of all, it was LIEnette that's put her address everywhere with her thousands upon thousands of fundraisings, right? GoFundMe for this, GoFundMe for that. Send me money here, send me money there. Here's my donation box. Here's my address. Over and over it, to the point of even saying, this is my P.O. box for Mary Mary.
Oh, don't forget her business cards that she put all over the...
Yep. Business cards all over the internet as well. But you know what? Oh, wait, that's right. It was LIEnette and John CROOK that got restraining orders on them for actually doxing us with intent for thievery and harm. Oh, but Angela Gleason must have been there in the courtroom for all of this information, right? But let's keep going on. Please take the time to look at his YouTube channel and pay special attention to his lives. I'm sure every judge out there is a fan of What the Hales. Yes, please do watch our channel and pay attention to our lives. We share the actual facts with you. And no doubt, you will make a judgment based on the facts that we present. And it is not going to be favorable for LIEnette or John CROOK whatsoever. They're particularly nasty. Mr. Hales went to length going to a grocery store and got them to stop donating their produce to LIEnette. Oh yeah, because they were using it illegally. She used this produce to feed her turtles. He lied and told them she was feeding it to humans. No, they actually posted that they were feeding it to humans. As a matter of fact, John CROOK went on to post, this is okay for Harley. Do you remember that one particularly? We have the thousands and thousands of screenshots, George. Okay, he has also called CPS on her. Yep. He's called Fish and Game on her. Yep. When you neglect and you abuse a child and animals, that's who you call. There are other agencies as well that he's contacted. That's funny because LIEnette and John CROOK said we haven't contacted anybody. But now all of a sudden we have?
Fish and Wildlife was a neighbor, not us.
That's true. Fish and Wildlife was a neighbor and not us. But yes, I did call CPS one time. Even though in court in Ohio, John CROOK asked George if she called CPS on them 1,000 times. That was his question. You think he was that day? Okay. He is also in contact with their extended family. No, actually, the extended family has contacted us. LIEnette's family, John CROOK's family, Harley's family. The list goes on and on. We've never contacted anybody. As a matter of fact, you've probably contacted us as well. There are other agencies he's contacted, He's most recently made contact with LIEnette's adopted daughter's birth family and has them believing LIEnette is abusing her. As a matter of fact, they contacted us. They called CPS once they saw all her posting. You want to see the video? Hey, pay for a membership, $24.99 a month, and you can see the video which their family members tell you they contacted CPS before they ever knew about What the Hales, before we ever made one video because of LIEnette's post. Okay. And it's gotten him all worked up. He's doing anything and everything can to destroy her. He's been instigating confrontations. That's funny because I think it's Mr. CROOK who's been posting that he has pictures of his appendages in George's mouth. I don't think that's Jeremy Hale saying that his appendages are anywhere near LIEnette because it would fall off if it ever got close. All right, this has been chronicled on his YouTube channel. Please see the videos. Miss Preston and Mr. CROOK have been under constant attack by Jeremy Hale for at least a year now. Please help them. Okay, that's funny because they started all of this, but now they need help. That's odd because they started, we ignored, and then we went after them because of what they have done. Now they get a taste of their own medicine, and now they need help. No, they actually are receiving the consequences of their actions. Oh, here's one. Heather Marion. Oh, yeah. J.H. stalking. This should be funny. By the way, this woman had to be blocked. She kept constantly contacting me through my personal Facebook. And that's not okay at any time with anybody. And I had to block her there. I've watched What the Hales for many years, but since he moved to Florida, it has been nothing but picking on neighbors and getting in fights with them when they just want to live their lives every day. That's funny, as months and months and months and months and months of posts went on, and we said nothing, we did nothing. That's funny, but all of a sudden, yep, we did something. Okay, he thinks that since he moved there, he can control the people by throwing money around. That's funny because you have some of the people saying I've never given any money to anybody or done anything for anybody. So which is it? Am I throwing money around and controlling people, or I've never done anything good for anybody? I don't recall throwing any money around. Do you, George?
No,
okay.
never.
Let me know if I do that, okay?
The delusions are real with her and her followers.
Oh, that's ridiculous. They're all mentally unstable. LIEnette and John CROOK have done anything to poke any situation to make anything to where they are today. Oh, you're right. They didn't make all those signs against Mary, against Russell, against Stewart. Oh, wait. Oh, they did and posted them illegally. They didn't poke anything, right? They didn't do, we don't have the thousands of screenshots. A court in Ohio didn't give us civil protection orders because of what they did. Right, Heather? Right? Oh, wait, you're the judge. No. I should have known better. Okay, and Jeremy said on his YouTube that he sees this as his own Jerry Springer show. No, I think this is more ridiculous than Jerry Springer. But he's the instigator to everything that has happened to these two. No, they're their own instigators. They've done this to themselves. And why don't you go look at their history? They've done this absolutely everywhere they've been. They aren't the only ones in the town who have gotten beaten and shaken down from this bully. Oh, boy, what is it like for me to be a bully? Loving people, taking care of people until they steal from me. Okay, I've spoken to both LIEnette and John about what happened, and I felt in my heart, judge doesn't care about what's in your heart, cares about facts, that they were telling the truth. So I paid for a membership to What the Hales, and I let them watch on my channel. This is the thing that blows my mind the most. This woman and this man are complete cons and scams and thieves, and this fool, this complete and total fool, Heather, actually gave them her password to get on her channel and all of her credit card information. How stupid can you be? You think you're a little butthurt that I blocked you and that it is not okay to actually stalk somebody online every day? Okay, so I paid for a membership to What the Hales to let them watch on my channel so they would know of the attacks on them and what more they are facing. Jeremy said he's not going to stop till it's redacted, till Harley is safe, but there is no abuse or anything that he can prove. As a matter of fact, in any other state, she would have been taken away already. But Florida has got some weird thing going on. But I got a feeling this court date is where it all happens and her life is saved. They have called the cops many times, and his followers do the same to make their lives a living Hales? To this day, they're running them out of town just so they can buy their land and stop at nothing to get it done. Heather, if you're so worried about them, why don't you buy their land from them? If you're worried I'm going to buy the land and you want to give them money and give them your password, seriously, why don't you buy the land from them? They're begging for money. Give it to them. Nobody wants that land. It's garbage. And they have created nothing but filth there. Oh, here we go. This is a good one. Marla Hughes. Or Marla Hughes. This is the best because she actually self-incriminates herself. My name's Marla Hughes. I live in Bronson, a few miles from Otter Creek, and I used to go fishing in Otter Creek often. However, that ended when a YouTuber bought some property there, and I was uncomfortable with the idea of potentially being filmed and put on YouTube without my permission or desire. Due to beginning to feel like I was being watched and followed, I stopped going to Otter Creek to fish, but continued to follow YouTube's channel. You fool! Who in the world is going to film you fishing? And number two, you were trespassing in the area. That's private property. You had no permission whatsoever. This woman is self-incriminating herself. She's a fool. And I'm still sick of this stupidity in this stuff. It's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It goes on and on and on. I'm not even going to go through all of her garbage. Okay, this is the funniest one. Wayne Woods. Actually, Marla Hughes is the funniest one, because she incriminates herself.
Hers makes no sense.
Please accept this as my statement regarding information I received from LIEnette about Jeremy Hales harassing her. From the information I've been told, he has relentlessly made false and derogatory and defamation accusations toward LIEnette in order to get her daughter. Nobody has tried to get her daughter from What the Hales, nor me, nor George. What we have done is shared screenshots and video of everything they've said and they've done. So, you think a judge is going to go, oh, LIEnette told me this, therefore it's true. This is ridiculous. Now, none of this is going to come into the courtroom anyway. And then Angela writes
another one?
Wait, you know what?
A word in support.
Yes.
Huh.
And a final word in support of LIEnette Preston.
Didn't LIEnette call her a mole?
Yeah, well,
And the R word?
should we tell the world that she actually was a mole? Okay. No, we're not saying that yet. I found, you know what, I'm not even going to read it. It's so ridiculous. And the judge isn't going to read any of it either. It's going to be completely and totally thrown out. But facts are going to be presented. Thousands of screenshots, videos of her saying John is abusive and that she's in an abusive relationship. And that means the child is in an abusive relationship. It's going to be facts that are thrown out and video of a game officer there and the abuse of the animals in turd water, no water. It's ridiculous. I can't wait for this date. Maybe we should mention that the judge actually gave us a 5-year protection order on both John and LIEnette. That's because judges don't go based on written hand letters, especially, we haven't shown you LIEnette's handwritten letter to a judge yet. It's pretty funny too. She can't even spell the word tortoise. And she also throws in a little PS to the honor, as if they're pen pals. But judges go based on facts. And that's it. Not feelings, not what somebody thinks, not what somebody says. That person said actual facts. And the facts were presented. And they were found guilty. And not only that, the individual that LIEnette stole $2,200 from received death threats. And they were recorded last night from LIEnette and John CROOK. And we're working with their local police to put these two in jail as well. You think I'm joking? Your Honor. Page 2. Handwritten. Doesn't even know how to spell tortoises. Isn't that like requirement number 1 if you're going to be a turtle and tortoise rescue? And not only that, hey, we're BFFs. P.S. Mr. Jeremy Hales. I know, I don't believe it either, but it is Otter Creek, and these freaks stalked us here.
Remember that ugly 1970s tile that we have here at the ranch house? Well, these bad boys are coming up. They are not welcomed here anymore.
I know what you're thinking. Jeremy, since you already have a 5-year civil protection order on both LIEnette and John CROOK, why not just get her injunction hearing dismissed? We would never, ever want that to happen. We want this opportunity. Understand, everything this woman does blows up in her face. As a matter of fact, her stepdaughter just messaged us as well. And she's gonna need a lawyer. Maybe Lizzie Bailey will actually do that work pro bono for her. Samantha. I know LIEnette knows who it is. Hello, Jeremy and George. My name is Samantha. I'm one of Lacey's. The whole family called her Lacey. That was their stage name on the pole dancing. They called her Spacey Lacey. I'm one of Lacey's ex-stepdaughters. Unfortunately, I'd finally been able to watch more of your videos in the past weeks without having a break from nursing school or kids being in school and daycare. First, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for exposing Lacey to the world. After all the turmoil she has caused not only for my family, other families as well. The way you two describe her is like you've known her your entire lives. Secondly, I want to apologize for having to deal with the chaos she brings with her and the hurtful things she has done to you, said about you, said to George. And George was exactly right. This woman is pure evil. She always has been. Lastly, I think it's amazing what you're doing for Otter Creek by having a Christmas party for the children there. Sounds like it's going to be magical. I wish I could be closer and attend, but thank you in person. Unfortunately, I'm in Iowa. I'm traveling that far with 4 kids. It's a huge expense. I look forward to seeing the videos and pictures. Thanks again for everything you're doing. And it goes on. And it goes on. With more information. You understand, we've barely shared the tip of the iceberg on the information of these two mentally unstable, very abusive, horrific people. And yet, every single family member has reached out to us. We've never reached out to one person. We're not going to stop until these two are behind bars forever.